Okay, let me ask. Let's. Hey, that first album is that story to get that journey. That's a journey now. What? But now I want to understand the exit and into now your next stage, because this is now where this is like it's like, okay, how did you get to this? Next thing I do now, seeing you with Sana.
Yes.
I'm very confused.
Well, first of all, I didn't. So a couple of things were happening around that time. One is Kanji was also leading worship at Mavuno, and there was a church plant called Mavuno Down.
Oh yes.
And they wanted me to be a worship leader as well, and I honestly didn't want to, and I refused. I flatly refused. And there's Gowi called me, Peter Dera called me, Pastor Janet called me. I refused. I said I don't want to be a worship leader. Eventually, they came to my campus table at ADD. The whole church deacons, all of them, Pastor Kiama, Debs Ugambi.
Yes.
Yeah, Debs Kimanthi, sorry. It's Debs Kimanthi.
Yeah. Which Debs? Debs Mose.
Mrs. Mose.
Yes.
Yeah. Kiama, Debs. Mrs. Kiama. Kono More. There used to be a guy called Josh. The deacons, church leadership, all of them came to the University of Nairobi, second floor, ADD, second year space, and sat around my drawing table and told me, you're going to be a worship leader. And I said, no.
You still said no?
I still said no. And they told me, no, let's just keep talking, we'll find our way. So they left. But that day I didn't say flat no. I said I'll think about it. And they left. Then eventually we discussed and then we agreed that I would be a worship leader for 1 year. I told them I will do it 1 year. My job was to come, set up the band, set up a worship team, leave it running and go. And I told them I will come with one partner in crime. David Murani. So David Murani and I entered Kanisa. This was not necessarily the thing we wanted to do. But now this church plant was starting afresh. So we were going to church at 6 in the morning. Setting up, tunabeba speaker, 6 in the morning. Tunaingiza speaker kwa Tintin restaurant. We hang them, chase all the cables, connect all the cables. And all this time the cables and equipment was being provided by my friend Steve Waroi, who's my blood brother. Yani ni mtu yangu kabisa.
Yeah.
And we share a birthday and we had been building bands together at chapel and on campus. In fact, we built at least upwards of 10 bands where we used to come. A guy would come to us, has no clue how to hold a guitar.
Yes.
Steve would start from zero. And there used to be a gig called The Journey.
Yes. In fact, Giuliani met his live band experience after hip hop. He went to The Journey and that convinced him.
Now when Giuliani comes to The Journey, who was playing? Sisi. We were the ones playing that day.
Time mentality. Yeah. We're gonna do this the right way, the Jesus way. Yeah. Streets inauliza ni aje, iko wapi? Hey. Listen. Story mtaa kuvevekana, manzika vivika Fox, German, kada utanama. Taka BMW, anza na BMX, yeah man. Zingine zote ziingizi, kuget easy go, itabidi bro. Kustretch vidole kwenda, pocket the stranger, the higher, the slit. Kwa start, the easier kuget wax. Politician kuda base, tunajaa na belch. Kuget through, those tunadu high. Kaloni kwa kiuno ya wasewa religion ni ukweli kule na Google kujimudu angopita soli ya kiatu wengine kizidi green kavuka boda mi noma kwa phone hata boda boda sina marines teams ma bling bling lakini nina uhusiano na king of kings.
And this time, Julian had already come to Kijiji by that time.
Because the first time he did live band was hip hop.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In fact,
exactly.
even you did hip hop.
I played that hip hop.
Yes.
Yes. So we were there. But that gig of the journey was basically like music mentorship. Steve Oroy is one of the best teachers of music I've ever met. Steve can teach a drum how to play guitar. Like Steve can teach. He's got a brilliant spirit, and I sometimes I choke out with you. Tell me, go practice. But Steve, mbana, I think Steve is single-handedly responsible for well over 50 musicians learning how to play.
What?
Yeah, and those musicians are in the chapel circuit and church circuit. Yeah, he's taught them one-on-one. Like he was the first one to teach them. This is a guitar. This is a tuning peg. This is, yeah. And we were doing that with him. I was helping, and we set up multiple bands. So we're kind of known as the guys. If you needed to start a thing, you started with us. Then us guys will build the band for you.
And then you can take them when they're okay.
They can play and they know discipline and they can do things. And there was a third member of our team. She was called Elsie. Elsie was a bass player. So Elsie is the one who teaches me how to play bass. The first girl I'd ever seen play bass again in my life, I'd never seen until Elsie picked up her bass and do. I was like, And by this time I'm still a drummer. So our band, which was a super band at the time, me I'm a drummer. Steve-O is on guitar, Elsie is on bass. We were untouchable at the University of Nairobi. Untouchable! Guys used to come compound knowing if those three pitch up, the gig is happening. Because we were playing. And now we're helping train all these bands because we didn't want to play all the church services. So we were like, let's teach other guys so they can play the services we don't want to play. Anyway, Steve and I now helping my worship downtown play. This time I'm also trying to exit Kijiji because Kijiji is doing a strategy shift. And they want me to be worship leader. Can just call me, I've refused. Eventually I've accepted. Now we're doing this thing. Tunabeba speaker 6 in the morning. It was a struggle. That year I fell out with all those pastors. I wrote them an email, bwana. I don't think they've ever recovered from that email. I wrote them an email and told them, you guys.
What was it? Burnout?
A part of it was burnout because I ended up
I know that because I lived with Blackman at the time.
Yeah, we were burnt out.
We lived together.
Yeah.
So I would see him exit. But for me, I was new. So I thought this was normal. So explain.
No. I was 21. Blackman was 23, 24, I don't know. And we were essentially teenagers. Essentially.
Yeah.
Emotionally,
Yes.
physically, we were teenagers. But we had the responsibility of pastors. And that's not a healthy thing. And we were literally leading a church. Quite literally. And I felt a lot of the weight of this thing because I brought everybody here.
Yes.
And the church had promised us at the time that they would give us the instruments. The deal was, you guys will lead worship for 1 year. After 1 year, since you guys want to go and pursue music, we'll give you guys the instruments. That was the deal. That's what they told us. So as the time went on, so even when I got Steve-O to give me equipment for that cheap, I was telling him, you're investing. Because at the end of the year, we'll have another set of equipment so we can do other jobs together. So we were interested in the church building, but they had made us a deal. So as church was growing, and it was, and we were doing our best to grow it, and there are cultures in downtown that I hear they still do today, that I started in 2006. They still do now. And that's part of the thing. You know, we started this thing.
Yeah.
And we're happy that...
Very funny. Riga is now you in downtown.
Is worship leader there?
Yes,
Really? I hope they now give alawi for
I'm sure
downtown
that
people.
they
Give allowance
no,
to
it's
worship
actually,
leaders.
I think even on a salo or something like that.
That's brilliant.
Yes, but
that's a lot better because that was a huge
actually,
problem.
to be honest, churches started paying in this era. You see what you're talking about?
Correct.
Kanji was
the first person to start saying,
getting
"Pay
a
guys."
band. In fact, you'd say guys are coming to practice on Saturday,
Yes.
and then they have to go do church on Sunday.
Yes.
You have to pay them.
Yes, yes.
I remember Asaf and Ken.
Yeah, a huge change. It was a huge change and it was an important change. It hadn't reached downtown because they didn't have the budget.
Yes.
So we were doing pro bono. But as our deal was, the gear.
Yeah.
So it was fine. So towards the end of the year, people said, changing. Maybe the gear may not be available. Yeah, it's facts.
This is after you've.
This is in fact.
This is after you've.
We've started the Kanisa in July. I think it's June or July. Now we have gone a full year. Now we are supposed to be reaching the point where new equipment should be coming to replace the existing equipment. Halafu sasa tunafika pale, they're now not sure. Meantime, I have led worship or been on Sunday on duty to lead worship for 52 Sundays. Straight. I had never missed one Sunday. I was doing that on Sundays. I was doing a music career. We had filled up Sherlock's Den, an almost broken lifestyle. One time, the whole of that floor of Sherlock's Den was packed like this. At a gig we were playing, we had chaos, kanjo, police, problems. We're trying to do that, but I'm trying to set up a music career. I'm exiting Kijiji. I'm studying architecture and I'm in third year.
Yes.
And my brain is fried. And then I was completely burnt out. In fact, the day that I leave downtown, I had a toothache. I was feeling sick. And I didn't want to come to church that Sunday. It was a celebration of the full year. I didn't want to come. I was like, I'm too tired to come and I have exams. And I was told, no, you must come. So I came and I led worship. And then I was supposed to sing the special. Let me tell you, I walked out the middle of the aisle in Tintin restaurant. And I walked out of KICC. I went down to KRA. I turned right and I walked up Ngong Road. I came to my senses when I was at Prestige.
What?
By the time I realized what I was doing and what was happening to me, I was at Prestige. I had 12 or 13 missed calls because they were looking for me to sing the special. I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't think anything. I was walking home to see my mom. Mom. I was tired. I was frustrated. I had exams the next day. Enough was enough. I walked. I came to at Prestige. That's when I was like, what's happening? Because somebody hooted at me. Then I now got on a mat and went home because now we lived number 9. Then I went home. That was now the last day I went to downtown as a worship leader. But in between there we had some problems. Part of the problem was that we were broke. Right? And the thing that was moving out of the church was not even the church's behavior. It was a big part of it, of course, and they behaved poorly. Something I've told them, it's not a secret. But the other important thing is that we were broke and we were trying to build careers. And we needed to play in bars, because bars were paying us. That was a fundamental difference. We didn't want to go play in bars, but when I went to sing 2 songs at Simas, imagine they paid me 50 bob. I would go to Simas, kina rumba Japan, kina Vasco, imba kidogo, I'd sing. And when I sang those 2 songs, they'd give me 50 bob.
Yeah.
That's, if you live on campus, ugali supu was 6 bob. So you can, with the 50 bob, I can do a week.
Yes, alright.
I can do a week. So we had no choice but to find these places to play because that's the only guys are willing to pay us. When we had brought this up in church, there was just no room. And I never felt as though in church at the time, the conversation was robust enough. The conversation was like with Kanji and then at Mavuno, but nobody else was having the conversation well enough. So this is also the time Alvan left church. It's also the time Chris Adora left church. It's also the time a whole bunch of people leave church around that time. Because it was beginning to bring us...
I saw guitarists.
Yeah, it was bringing... I saw Mugunda at the time that they had a band called...
Heart and Soul.
Heart and Soul.
Heart and Soul.
Brilliant band.
Exactly.
It was fire.
It was a fire.
But they couldn't sustain the boys because now... In fact, we were playing the crusade circuit because, you know, crusades used to pay. I used to go to crusades and sing, and they would pay me at crusades. This church called All Nations Gospel used to pay me for singing at the crusade. Because crusade walikuwa liquid, walikuwa natoa do.
Yeah.
But churches wouldn't. So this was kind of the tension. So all this was in our heads, and it was really struggling, and we were not able to handle. And at the time, we were not really able to challenge authority properly. And then we had some niggly little things, you know, like somebody's coming, people were trying to control. Also, people didn't really understand me.
Yes, that's true.
I don't think people understood who I was and how...
Already stylistically, music, you were very different.
Correct. But also as a personality. Because like pastors were used to the position of absolute power over music programs in church. But with me, that was never the case. Because I always used to say, are you a musician? I would ask that question.
Yeah.
And I've never been afraid to ask it. Pastor, did you used to sing? And they say, you know, I never sing. So why are you asking us to make a change from this key to this key? It's not going to work for what we're trying to achieve, right? So I think what surprised a lot of those church guys at the time, when they tried to sort of put me in this mold of you're going to be this church boy and you're going to do these things, they found a guy who was just going to tell them no. And multiple times, I had an episode where Pastor M told me, there was an episode, somebody was misbehaving at rehearsal. And if you've ever been to any of my rehearsals, you know that's not allowed. Nobody messes with my rehearsals. And I don't allow you to. And even when I was 21, I didn't allow anyone to. I would say, we'll play the gig without you. And it's okay. That's how I learned to play multiple instruments, because si hata kam, ndacheza hiyo. Na tutaenda tu. And Steve Waroy and Elsie had the same policy. We were like, rehearsal, you don't play around. You come on time.
Exactly.
You do the thing we're supposed to do. We concentrate. It's 1 hour. We do our job, get out. Somebody was having trouble coming to rehearsal. They wanted to come to rehearsal and hold prayer meetings. Because we're all Christians, and to come to rehearsal and pray for 15 minutes. But we only had the rehearsal room for an hour. So me, I was like, you know, we can pray any other place. We can't pray here. Because we have this space for 1 hour. In this 1 hour,
let's do as much.
I have to teach you the changes, the music. At the time, we had very young musicians. Our bass player had picked up the bass that year. The drummer had picked up the drums that year. So we didn't really have, you know, when you have experienced musicians, you can play around.
Exactly.
We did not have this in church at that time. And this band was young. And we had to, so I was running it like a tight ship. Rehearsal started at 9. 9:15, I would give you grief. So somebody came and said, no, we have to pray more at rehearsals. I was like, hey, I'm not against prayer.
But not here.
Not here. We're going to pray after. So this case became a huge case. It went till Pastor M.
What?
So they called me into this room. Pastor M told me, you know, you can't just talk to people like that. I said, Pastor M, I have a job to do, which is to run this thing. And this thing is hard to run. I meet these guys once a week. I meet them 9 o'clock until 10 o'clock. We don't have any other time. We can't extend. Because the Kanji and the other band are coming to take the space.
I remember we used to practice in Mavuno South Sea.
The office.
The office, yes.
And the big band was coming at 10.
Exactly.
Us guys are a small band. We have to come at 9 and we have to get out by 10.
Yes.
So we don't really have space. Like, it's like, look, there's no mental nafasi for your issues. I agree that you want to pray, but we're not going to really pray. This is not the space. Here, we're just going to do music for 1 hour and then we get out. Then we go outside, and if you want to pray after,
no problems.
Fine. But this was reported like that guy has refused prayer, has banned prayer. Fine. I said, I'm not allowing anybody to pray during the rehearsal because it's wasting time. If you can tell me how we can get more rehearsal time, so we can commit more time to prayer. But right now, we have 1 hour. And I think that surprised them. It surprised them that I could bring these issues up, and I wasn't afraid to advocate for my team. And I always said, if there's going to be a problem between the church and my band, I will pick my band. I always said that. I told them, my band, these guys came here because I called them. It's my personal commitment to them.
Yo.
So I'm not going to prioritize your feelings, your emotions, your church strategy, your church, whatever you guys have, you're going to have to play ball me here. The person who calmed me down from that hardline stance was Wamai. When Wamai joined Downtown, I was like, okay, see, Ebu tell me how it's going. And really helped me out because at that time, I was just really not taking any. And we were also frustrated, we were not paid. Guys, one of the guys in my band used to ride a bike from K South, Mpaka South Sea, by 9 a.m. for rehearsal.
What?
He used to ride a bike. He wanted to learn the instruments, and this was the opportunity. So, and he didn't want to let me down. The guy used to be at rehearsal at 9 sharp. He used to hide his bike. I didn't even know he used to hide his bike until the day I came to rehearsal at like 8:30. So I was the first one in. Then as I was waiting for things to happen,
You're the bike.
he walked in and I saw him bring a bike in and asked him, boss, why do you leave? Again. He said, I thought you lived. He said, yeah, I cycled. From home? Yeah. Are you serious? You do this all the time? The guy was riding his bike and he was fresh from high school. So there's no other way to come to rehearsal. That time mimi niko na ruabe. Zile ruabe za muziki za wa Kongo. Nimekam chizi. We want to go home. David is saying, Bana, do you have something we split for fare? The guy is going to Karen. So Karen is Finje going, Finje coming back. So I have to give him so. Doris Onyango, and the rest of the band, people are going to Buru, guys are going to, these other people are going to the band, like, people are going far places, we all need fare. Mi niko na ruabe. Nimepatia ase. So this is the reason I did not take nonsense from them. When Kanisa came to tell me that they would not be able to honor the deal, I didn't take any prisoners. I was like, no. You lied. And I'm going to tell you to your face that you lied, and I need you to fix it. And I wrote them an email. All those guys that came, I copied them in that email. I told them, you guys were complicit. Y'all should fix this thing. And they never spoke to me for almost 4 years. Because after I left church, after I left that day, nobody from church called me. After that day, they called me to try and get me to do the special. After they didn't find me, they never called me. The next phone call I got was on Thursday of the next week. And somebody was calling me to tell me that the person on the other side of the line called me to tell me, Ati, you know you shouldn't leave. You know, you threw the program into disarray. I told him I'm going for a theory of structures exam. I'll call you after. I never called him back. I was never interested. And I was hurt by that thing. I was pissed off. Never interested again. Now, Mavuno Downtown is a huge church. I'm very proud of where they are. Yeah, but they need to fix some things. And me, I've moved on. I'm okay with it. It's just part of the story. But there's some people whose hearts are really broken that never got the opportunity to fix. And it's that band. And if I got them back, yeah, so like the next time I heard about this Downtown story is my band guys called me and told me, do you know there's a celebration for 10 years of Mavuno Downtown? I was like, oh, okay. They didn't call anyone. I'm like, hey people, you can't be serious. Call the guys. Tell them to come, Bana. You guys stop misbehaving. Call the people that were here at the beginning by buying spinches. They are still important. Call them. Just to tell them, can you imagine, we've done 10 years now. So it's, and this was feeding to the exit, because at the time, Kanjos was going to be very seriously into Mavuno.
Yes,
I know. Now me,
in fact, I ended up working at Mavuno at that time.
And whole of Kijiji was kind of,
yes.
So for me, this is now not going to be
I get it. I understand it now.
This was now not going to be palatable. It wasn't going to work, because I had said the way musicians are being dealt with is wrong, and I'm not going to be there for it. And then I sent an email saying, "Muwache ushenzi." And I bounced.
But on a different end, I'll say now I'm a bit. I have a better perspective of things.
Yeah.
Despite how you were treated by Mavuno was still one of the best at the time in how they were treating artists.
Absolutely.
I'll give an example. Mavuno paid for Riga's whole album.
Yeah, absolutely.
Concert, everything. Did you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember in terms of the access would be given for even one of our hip hops. We ended up doing it. That was. And
it's unprecedented. Yes, it was changing things.
It was never. In fact, at that time I thought that was normal. It's only I begin to hear. Even for you to have an agreement where you tell church, I will take the equipment after when I leave.
Yeah.
That is it's very wrong. It wasn't honored. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But it was without a doubt. And
so I mean, they were ahead. The truth is, they were way ahead. They were way ahead of a lot of. I have experiences with other churches that are worse. Disease, Julian, all these other guys. Yeah. But
you're like Timo.
Me, I did this circuit. We know these guys. Back when you see them preach, you tell them, "Watch abwana." Tell people the truth. But and we love them. It's in love. I call guys and tell them, because me, what I'm saying, I've told them. I've never not told them.
You've not been who you're not.
Yeah, I've told them. To their faces, this is what I think about this thing. Now we can discuss the reasons.
Exactly.
This is where I am. But it should not be twisted that they were ahead. I think I took personal offense in the personal issues that we were going through.
Yes.
Wasn't and I think
you had a human to human disagreement.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think they've also noticed it, and over the years we've tried to fix.
Learned.
Yeah. And I think they've learned. So like if I hear this is happening to the worship teams in Mavuno now,
there's a huge problem.
This will be a problem. If right now they're not remunerating their musicians, they're not bothering to take care of their musicians, I wouldn't stand for it. I would go. I would go to see them.
To be honest,
just to shout.
you know, the more you talk, the more a lot comes into perspective. Let me give an example of what I'm trying to say. Doris Mayoli, Kaima Mwiti. Those people were high. Charles Riga. Charles Riga said is doing your job, but he's more. It's
more structured now.
It's more structured, and that structure is beyond just paying artists. Even there's an element of care.
Absolutely.
You get what I mean? So how do we even care for this one? I don't think it's perfect, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I think, unfortunately, we were the guinea pig.
We were. we were, and we were not the first ones. We were the loudest of a long string of guinea pigs. Because the amount of time that I've spent at chapel since 2001, right? Conscious time. You know, St. Luke's Kenyatta, I spent a lot of subconscious, unconscious time because I was a child.
Yes.
But in chapel, I was conscious. I was a person. I have memories. I know things. I saw things, right?
Yeah.
What I learned in church, and my advice actually to church, even to close this topic, in general, church dealing with musicians and also church dealing with church people, is churches need to hire a pastor whose only job is to pastor the people, the team.
Ah, man, that's crazy.
The corporate world has a corporate affairs officer. His job is to take care of the HR. When your person dies, they come and write you a check. Not because they love you so much, but because they know if we give you a check, you go bury your person early, you come back to work early. Churches need a corporate affairs pastor who has HR training and is a pastor, and whose job is to take care of the well-being
of the staff team.
That's the solution. Exactly. Because the way church is going now, it's going very corporate. It's very goals-oriented. The only solution is learn from corporate world, get a talent management guy, let him manage the talent that you have in church. It's the only solution to help guys.
You know, that's actually a freaking brilliant idea. Let me ask, what's your solution to, or what would you say to you? So the you now, who's the guy who's just joined church, who's in the worship team, who's in all of these things. What's your info for him?
Take care of yourself. It's very easy in that, my experience of that rigmarole of worship leading and being in church and serving very actively in church is that it's very taxing on you emotionally, physically, spiritually. I'm a very spiritual person, and I felt it very heavy on me. So my advice would be to take care of yourself as much as you can. And that martyrdom, we have a martyrdom. There's a martyrdom that comes with those roles. People want to do more. It's something that needs to be cut out. I think no worship leader should lead 52 Sundays. I don't think that should ever happen. I don't even think they should do 40. Yeah, I don't think that's prudent. I think they should do less. I think churches need to actively get their worship leaders to do less, not more. And I think churches now need to consider the music department of as part of their HR.
Yes.
Because right now they're not really aware of that. So
no, a lot are, but I love what you've said. Yeah.
Just be aware of it. And this thing at your pastor will be your pastor who's your boss at work. Remember, for guys working in church, he's not a pastor, he's my boss. Now the boss is supposed to be your pastor, supposed to be your counselor. It's not working.
Yeah.
The model is broken. You need another guy whose job is just to come and ask you, how are you doing, man? How are things at home? Because I can tell you so many stories about our time in church, and we probably shouldn't go in, but there was once a person who used to do sound, who we used to see every Sunday, who was terminally ill. Nobody knew. As in kila asubuhi tumekam tumebeba na speaker now, and this person was sick, and none of us saw. It wasn't even in our field of vision. How is this person? How does they come? How does he come to work? What's happening? And we didn't understand. By the time I remember being told Nani akohosi, and when I went to hospital, I almost collapsed because I could not believe what I was seeing. The dude had been sick for such a long time, and he had just decided, I'm just going to go to church and volunteer my time. This guy used to come to church at 6. But we couldn't see because of that pressure. We couldn't see, man. The service has to be going by 10. So, and you come at 6, you're hungry, but hey, where are the speakers?
Cables, line,
cables,
mic, sound. This speaker ifanyi.
Gosh, let's set this thing up. It was
power goes.
We are stressed, trying to make sure that once the thing is set up, now we have to look good. Do you have your blue shirt? So it was, but that whole chaos was blocking us from seeing. A person who was with us was really doing badly, and I don't blame individuals. Like, I was there. We just never saw. When I step back from it, I look back, I say,
I wasn't aware. I wasn't present.
I wasn't present. We were not present, and that's what I'm saying. People have to take care of themselves. When you're in this thing, please take care of yourself. When something is happening in your life that is affecting how you work, the work you do, you have to step up and say something. Because it's the only way we're going to get you the care we need. That's on, because you asked me about those guys.
Yeah.
Those guys also have to be a lot more deliberate. Step back when you need to, and take care of yourself. That's much more. Spiritually, if you need to go to another church, by the way, go. If this church, because it's hard to pray in a church where you work. Yeah. Let's be honest, it's very difficult to pray. We've tried it. It's hard, man. You close your eyes, then you hear feedback, you open. Who's in charge of the sound? Go switch it.
So true.
You can't concentrate. So it's okay if you need to go to another church.
Get your spiritual
So you
food.
just go to pray. Well, you don't care about
sound.
Yeah, you don't care. You're just here to pray.
Okay, dude. Let's tell me about your second album.
Yeah. So
or when you leave that space now, what happens?
Correct. So when I leave this space now, I'm
now
trying to chart my own course, and I have two problems. The first is I'm tagged as a worship leader. That's a problem for me because there's no revenue to be earned as a worship leader. And I'm aware of this. The second problem I have is I'm told I sound like Eric. Yes. And this is what everybody's saying, right? Now this is a problem. I need to break these two things. Yeah. I need to break these two things.